Yeah, it was, I feel like that was a bit needless. He would have gotten more information with the probe out on the map, so.
Ruin's looking, the last few times here, a bit stressed out here. He looked really broken after that last loss. I mean, these have been pretty brutal games that he's been having here so far today. A good build order pick here from Panic. Let's see what happens now on the map Polar Night.
You know what? Just a very strong, kind of easy overall to execute build like that is not a bad choice. You know, when there's so much pressure on both these guys. These guys have never really made it deep. This is really their time to try to shine and go further. So I like the choice by Panic. Not that Ruins is bad, but Panic's is like pretty hard to mess up if you hit your pylons and warpins, right?
Well, and the number of shots he got off with his stalkers on his opponent's stalkers. I mean, the game was almost over just there.
Yeah, like no matter what, if he hadn't gotten that extra stalker or anything, still he would have been in a really good spot, just strategically speaking. All right, so Polar Night, our next map. A lot of things you can do here. Fast expansion, kind of common. 3 Stargate into, three Gateway into Oracle is really nice here.
Now, remember, guys, the winner here is not out of this group. He has to face off against SOS, one of the best Protosses of all time. I mean, in a class far beyond either of the two players on screen right here. So, this is another tricky situation. SOS is in the makeup room right now watching these games.
Yeah.
Probably
taking notes,
yeah. And
talking with his coach and just figuring out absolutely everything about what's going on here. Just looking for play styles, flaws in plays that he can take advantage of. Is someone microing stalkers inefficiently? Like anything at all.
And that game is now starting here. Can Ruin bring us to game number 3? Or will Panic bring us to our final best of 3 here against SOS? We're going to find out soon here at GOMTV.
Panic versus Ruin.
Well, no proc scene or anything like that so far.
Nope, so we'll wait to see if they get second gates.
Yeah.
So, Tasteless McTosis, what's up?
I'm not Tasteless McTosis.
You are. I can give you whatever pet name I want.
I'm Count Tastula.
You're not.
I'm Count Tastula.
You were Count Tastula when you were 16.
I'm still Count Tastula. I didn't lose my lordship.
You certainly did.
I did not.
You're a king now.
And you're still a McTosis that had a farm. E-I-E-I-O.
And on that farm, I grew vegetables.
E-I-E-I-O. Yep. Yeah, that's it. Vegetables don't make sounds, so it actually, the song just ended there.
Vegetables make sounds. You ever crack celery? Think that didn't make a sound?
I think that was you making that make the sound when you cracked it.
Oh, yeah?
That's not like a moo-moo here.
I think you literally can't crack something without there being a cracking sound. I think that's part of what crack is.
Well, crack can be used metaphorically.
Yeah, but so can anything, right?
Literally. All right.
Same time in double gas.
This map is a funny map because it you could come into the main by air from so many different angles.
Yeah.
Which makes it really difficult for defense early on against these really complex rushes that we see.
My favorite build on this map is 2 gateways, making the stalkers into the 3rd gate and Stargate. It's a pretty, well, I mean, that's a pretty solid build really for any map, but I think it's a particularly good choice here because it's so easy to fly in with the Oracle from like an angle that you don't expect. Yeah, takes a little bit longer sometimes, but if your opponent doesn't scout that it's coming, it can be pretty tough to stop.
It's become almost predictable, though, on this map to do that to some extent. I mean, it doesn't mean that you shouldn't do it because it's still strong, but
yeah,
the element of surprise is kind of gone there.
Certainly. By the way, we do have the 2nd gate going up for Panic. Could be the same build as last game, not sure yet. But Ruin looks like he's going for exactly the same build that he used against SOS, which is the fast expansion. He's starting that Sentry, he went for 1 gate only. And the map he chose, he did it against SOS, and now he chose this map. And it looks like it's the same opener.
Now, do you feel that if Panic does go for that 5-Stalker rush into Forced Nexus Cannon into Stalker 1, would that just hard counter fast expand, or do you
I think it forces a cancel on the Nexus.
And then he just has to play from there.
Oh, but that's not what's going on. Ruin throws down his Twilight.
Twilight Council.
Yeah, this is going to be a much quicker blink, or possibly DT. And that is a proxy pylon in a very funny spot there for Panic. And you know what? Huh. I mean, it's probably Stargate, right, for Panic at proxy. And he made a Sentry, which makes me think he might go proxy Stargate plus a Nexus.
All right, here's that proxy Stargate.
Right, and
now now Ruin's going to come in here, try to poke in, see if he can get any intel. And Blink is starting here for Ruin as well.
Nice quick blink. Ruin going to fly in, and the thing is, he's not going to really get that much intel. Good micro there by Panic, saving everything. At least sees the gateway count. Doesn't tell him what tech route, though. Because this could be Stargate, this could be just... I mean, it's not a 3-gate because he showed the Sentry, though.
Panic has seen everything now.
Yeah. Okay, so for Panic, we do have him throwing down the Robo. Making himself safe since he has seen this. He wants to get that Immortal out ASAP. Oracle on the way. And here we go, Ruin throwing down his Nexus.
Now we have the Stalkers coming back here into the main here for Panic.
I wonder if Ruin is figuring out what's going on, because he just scouted that main base. And he sees like a Robo and some random units and no expansion. I think at this point he's figured out that there has to be a proxy Stargate. Like, nothing else is making sense.
And now he knows for sure as the Oracle comes in here, hitting those probes.
Wow, some nice micros so far. 4 kills.
Oops, didn't get that last one. So 4 kills only there.
Pretty good so far. Still alive, so he can duck in later and see what else he can get done.
Now going to take out this probe that was hidden there to spot. And he does see the hidden Stargate here. But he pretty much knew that once he saw that there was an Oracle coming in from a weird angle.
Is this not a little bit weird from Panic? That is a very late Nexus.
Yeah, considering the number of probes he killed, it's not like it's balancing out here.
Well, the fact that you're going for the Oracle, if they're actually going to attack you with a blink attack, the Mothership Core oftentimes will be with them, which means the Oracle can keep them at home, which means you can make the quicker Nexus even though you don't have Blink or the Immortals ready. So, a little bit confused with just how late that Nexus is. It's only halfway done and we already have probes mining from Ruins. So, even though Panic does have like a little bit of a lead as far as supply goes, and that's mostly an army, I'm kind of liking Ruins' position. I think he's fine.
I think Panic, from what we've seen from him, unless he has a substantial lead, like the rush is working like that last game, he does seem to have a hard time getting the building blocks in the right order to have the proper transition in a mid game and into late game.
Yeah. All right. So Forge is coming up at the same time. So that tells us, that signifies that we're actually going to go into a macro game of some sort. Like, well, obviously 2 bases each, but good chance there'll be 3rd bases as well, or at least a timing attack against the 3rd base like we've seen from SOS.
And that Oracle actually got away, surprisingly. Pathfinder and the Stalkers actually turned them around.
All right, so looking at everything that's going on here, you can see that Ruin is actually pulled pretty far ahead. He's up by 6 probes. The Nexus just finished for Panic, so he's just sending those down now. And we have a 13 army supply advantage on top of that. So, kind of an issue. The one thing that we can say, though, about Panic, I would say that Panic can't take his 3rd, really. He needs to actually do an attack, like when the 3rd is taken for his opponent.
So just wait for Ruin to expand here and then try to come in there and punish?
Yeah, add your gateways in reasonable time.
It looks like he's setting up for that pretty well with the Oracle tagging all these all the structures in the main here.
Yeah, he's got to keep an eye on what's going on. And the thing is, he's already starting his 4th Immortal. And against this many Immortals, if Ruin tries to take a 3rd, he's going to get slammed. Like, the Immortal is the most important unit in a situation like this. The Immortal, like, kills everything. It kills Archons, it kills Stalkers, and it does well enough against Zealots.
All right, he's blinking up here and doing a little bit of harass here. Nicely done by Ruin, getting 2 probes and then blinking out.
Well, some of them blinked out.
Yep. Others went to heaven.
Yes, for the second time.
Yes. Now, it looks like that third is going to be taken pretty quickly here for Ruin. You can see the probe over there at the bottom left. Meanwhile, the gateway's being made here for Panic. And
Ruin, though, added 3 gates before he's making a Nexus, so this is actually really smart. He's like he's improving himself in PvP, I feel, in this match overall. Because before he was like taking it a little bit too greedily. This time he's being a little bit more careful, but still. I love the fact that there are 4 Immortals out already. Ruin, though, is getting his 3rd, so to be down just 1, I think that's okay.
More gates coming down here again. Panic wants Ruin to expand here. Ruin, okay, never mind. Ruin is going to expand. I was going to say Ruin's not taking the bait.
Yeah, I imagine Panic will make a 3rd Nexus as well.
It looks like he's
going to move out to try
right.
to do something. Now, yeah, the army
supply here is still, actually it's almost the same at this point in time.
Yeah, it's pretty close.
And then when you consider a Nexus being done, the Nexus cannon will allow, you know, that side to win that engagement. Another gateway explosion occurring here now from Ruin.
Yeah, this really looks like Panic is just going to go for an almost all-in attack. His 3rd Nexus already so slow if he's going to go for it. He's just warping a lot of units. It looks like he's trying to line this up with +2. The thing is, if you look at how SOS did this and how he's doing this, SOS had +2 like definitely quicker and significantly quicker than Ruin had it. And he had significantly higher army supply. And we do have a higher army supply for Panic. It's not that much higher.
Okay, he's coming down now. Let's see if he can get these Stalkers. Nope, Stalkers blink away. Checking by the watchtower. Now he has a Warp Prism coming in here and this army moving down. So if he warps in these, drops some Zealots and then warps in more in the main, he can tear apart the economy in there and even get some of the infrastructure destroyed. Now he will probably gauge how quickly Ruin's reacting to that and then decide whether or not it's time for him to rush into the other location over there in the 3rd.
That's a lot of Zealots being warped in now. If he can force the army to move out of position, he can run down and snipe the Nexus and then beam out of there.
I think that's what he's going to do. I think he's going to go for the Nexus and then run for it.
Fantastic move. Can he get it done?
I believe he can! So sick. Oh my god, he's going to get this Nexus too.
Well, he's still got quite a few Zealots in here. That Nexus cannon really helping out, but it looks like Ruin's going for the counterattack.
All right, Ruin coming up here now. This Zealot warping over here may be a mistake.
Yeah, that's leaving him very little at home.
Yeah.
All right, this is going to be very scary. He's got a lot of Immortals, though. That's definitely going to help him out, especially since there's so many Stalkers here. He's in a pretty good location overall.
He's probably needs to use these probes to attack, too, here. I think he needs to, all he has to do really is survive here. And the angle for those 2 Archons, 2 of them immediately getting taken out. Meanwhile, 2 more Archons destroyed here for Panic.
And the Immortals continue to target down anything they can. The thing is, he doesn't have a whole lot of other units. He finally does pull those probes. Maybe he should have pulled them a little bit quicker.
I think so. Well, I guess with the presence of the Archons, maybe he wanted to wait a little bit longer. It looks like, yeah, just barely Panic holds that off. And that should be a 2-0 here. I mean,
yeah. Well, he killed the Nexus at the same time. So GG. Panic very happy with himself, getting to go on to play against SOS.
Well, can Panic beat SOS, man? I don't know. I mean,
I don't know, but he played that very well.
He did. He played very well.
But no, I think SOS is like considerably better still.
Good games there. I was a little bit worried for him when he did that Zealot warp in the 2nd round.
Yeah.
In the main, I was like, oh man.
Well, that's where you're like, okay, I think I'm barely going to hold it my natural, because that's what you're saying by giving another like 10, 15 supply there. You're saying I'm winning the game right here because I'm holding and I'm dealing the damage in the main. And that's like, that can be scary. Like, personally, I would not make that
I would not have made
choice a lot of the times. I would make those at home.
I would have kept that.
Yeah.
Because once you get that 1 Nexus, even after that, you can come in there again.
Well, as long as you hold it home,
warp in,
you have your 3rd Nexus in your head.
Exactly. But he handled that very well.
Yeah, very well indeed.
Nicely
So
done.
Super well played by Panic. Ruin, unfortunately, he's out of here.
We're going to go to our final match after this short break. It's going to be SOS against Panic. Stay tuned.
I've got a